Deyan Ninov, exterior design manager in Dodge, and I was also very lucky and fortunate to be the lead exterior designer in the Dodge Daytona. I know I met some of you guys yesterday, and we had some great conversations, so I'm pretty happy to discuss the design and kind of how we ended up here with this car today. It's been a long journey. We released the show car 2 years ago, and I'm so excited to show you the actual production car here. And I'm very happy with what we've achieved and the fact that the production car is so close to the concept car. So I don't know if any of you have seen the production car before in person, but it's a car that you really have to see it in person. You have to see the proportions. It's larger than life, this car. And when we approached it, we knew we wanted something very impactful with this car, and we knew it was going to be, wide. It was going to be long. It was going to be everything that's extreme in proportions, and we embraced it very early on. The car is as wide as it can legally possibly be for a car. Really, if we were to make it any wider, we would have had to put the 3 lights that you see on TRX trucks, for example. So we're at the very limit, which is pretty crazy. It's actually wider than the Charger Widebodies by quite a bit. So I think that's pretty cool. It's what we do in Dodge. We do these really impactful, crazy things that no other brand would get away with, or would even try and do. Really with this car, we didn't want to create another jelly bean EV, So from the very get-go, we knew we wanted something very much Dodge, very pure, something where form follows function. And the way we approached the design, early on, we looked at, where we were. We looked at the 68 Charger briefly, and then we sort of set it aside. It was sort of like, what are the memorable elements of that car that you remember? And then from there on, we just kind of did our thing, And one of the kind of, when we discussed as a team, one of the things we wanted was people that know the heritage of the brand can see the heritage, but people that don't know the heritage see a spaceship on the road. And I think we've done it. I think the car is just so impactful when you see it on the street, on the road. It looks like nothing else out there, And there were a lot of cool elements and design solutions that allowed us to do that in this, new future for us, while still maintaining the Dodge DNA. We knew we wanted that sort of blunt, in-your-face front end, upright front end. But how do you do that? When aero is so important. It's not really what you want to do when you want to have an aero car. That's why you see a lot of the EVs out there, they're sort of jelly bean, as we call it. And big enabler for us was this R-Wing concept here, which is this pass-through. And I'm super proud that we achieved that and that we even got it in production. It took a great team of engineers and our aero folks. We did so many simulations, to get this thing to work and to allow us to have that sort of brutal front ends that we know that Dodge cars are known for, but at the same time keep a very aero profile. And the cool thing is it's allowed us to create a lot of creative solutions, that otherwise we probably wouldn't have. Like, for example, the headlights, they're super tucked under the R-Wing. And it's funny, it kind of talks to a little bit the old Dodge Daytona, which had the flip-up headlights. But in a way, these are kind of hidden. So it's a sort of a play on that. And then we have the full width, DRL, which we call the drag strip DRL. And it's a pretty bold graphic that you know what it is in your rearview mirror. And same thing with the rear graphic. We have the racetrack 360 graphic. It sort of has this infinity effect to it. And when you see it at night, it's so impactful. Honestly, at night, the car, I actually was admiring it yesterday on the way back to the hotel. it looks like a spaceship. It's such a bold graphic, and it's so precise and strong. So I think graphically, I'm very happy with all the elements and the way they're working out. And of course, we have the lit frat dog badges, both front and back. And the front one is really cool because it's encapsulated in this sort of aero profile glass. So it allows us to do some really cool details there, and it really completes our wing, kind of gives it stability as well. I do want to talk a little bit about the frat dog. So kind of funny, the frat dog was used in the 60s and 70s, Dodge products. And the story behind it is funny because the way it came about, basically, designer drew it one day and he called it the frat dog, and it stuck. And, you know, which I think is a kind of neat little story, funny. So we thought, we're looking at where we want to take the brand. We knew we wanted something new, strong, and bold for the Dodge brand, and that's why we thought bringing back the frat dog was that element that really allowed us to kind of push ourselves into the future. And it's a strong graphic that I think it kind of talks to the past and also talks to the future, you know. We also have a lot of cool details around the car, like we have the vertical textures, which it's a nod to the 68 Charger. So there's a lot of little details on the car that kind of talk to the past, but then there's a lot of cool details that talk to the future. So as we kind of go around the body side, the side of the car, we have this water line that kind of runs all the way through the car and actually kind of is completed by the graphics front and back. And that was sort of the element that allows, it kind of separates the mast top and bottom and really plants the car, which is you know, pretty cool. And then you have the fenders that sort of jut out of it and really plants the car down. And then obviously we have some elements on the body side that do talk to the 68 Charger, like the A-lines both front and back, and also they kind of give the car a little bit of dynamic feel. And then as we go towards the back, I want to talk a little bit about the hatch. That was, again, when we were designing this car, it was all about form follows function, and we wanted everything to be very much functional in this car. And the hatch was one of those things. Actually, I remember when we presented to upper management, I had done a rendering where I had opened the hatch and I put my German Shepherd in there with his favorite bowl, you know. And I think that kind of captured everyone's imagination, and I think everyone was very much excited by it because it gave us this utility that we otherwise wouldn't have with this car. And lastly, I want to talk about the Fratonic, which is something we had a lot of fun with. You know, allowed us to do a lot of cool details. Like again, we have the vertical texture, which is a bit of a nod to our past as well. But the cool thing with the Fratonic is that it's sort of that immature hooligan experience that he had as a kid, you know, that otherwise he wouldn't have, and also it gives you such a strong connection to the car that you really wouldn't have otherwise. So we're very proud of it, and that we've been able to achieve that. So yeah, with that, I'll pass it off to Deyan to talk to you guys a little bit about the interior.